Market's looking to break out of a technical wedge here. However, we do have a few hiccups that could be coming our way. Nonetheless, S&P up 75 basis points here as the Qs gained 1.5, although they did come in off the highs by the end of the day. And most notably, the fact at the end of the day here, you saw the Dow continue to be strong and take out the opening print. ES and SPX having a higher high, with the QQQ having a lower high. So some of that strength faded around midday. And we talked about the NASDAQ in the morning video. And I said, like, watch QQQ at, 725. That's where it's going. And by the way, absolute monster day trade this morning on QQQ, or I should say NQ, in the trading room. And again, we have our sale going on all month, 60% off. Glad people messaging me here saying that they paid for the week, and probably even more than that, honestly. So take advantage of that while you can. Swing trade's not too shabby either. But anyway, pretty nice move here this morning with NQ, and we went right to 725, and we did peter out. And one thing I kind of got a little mixed up though is I figured we would stall at 750 SPY, and the Qs would kind of hold maybe above 725, but the relationship switched throughout the day, and the SPX really drove the gamma here to 75.50. So we essentially hit our expected right tail for the day. We closed just off of it, which is totally normal, but semis did pull in. And again, the semis are, it was a semi-led sell-off, so the semis were getting the rebound, but they did come back in by the end of the day, and more money rotated to the mags. You see Tesla having a very nice day. Even, Microsoft, which was down, it rallied back all day long. Google, Apple was a monster today. This is going to make new all-time highs, and we're still looking for 325, maybe 330 on this. But again, I don't like how tech is underperforming here. Again, it's it's one thing for every now and then, but when it's daily and it's a theme, it is notable. One other thing I will say here too is, again, at face value, yeah, we're above the wedge, right? We closed above it, so it's a breakout until it's not, and we'll see. I think tomorrow it'll probably try to back test some of these levels. We might see backing and filling. That's kind of my just general lean. But you can see here on the futures here on the E-mini, we've got that as well. I was kind of hoping we would get down here for one more tag. We didn't do that, but I would keep an eye on. We'll talk about it in the morning, but just keep an eye on a back test of this trend line really tomorrow. Maybe even a good pierce of that. But the thing that I will just caution on here, and again, just yesterday's video, like some people were asking me about, like, oh, Aaron, I thought you were bullish about it. Like, just because that there's a signal here of something that's happened before, it doesn't mean it has to happen again. It doesn't have to happen that same way either, right? And what I'm talking about is correlation. With that said, though, we hit a sub 4 today. We closed above 4. This is ridiculously low. It's basically an all-time low. Right? The last time we were this low was the carry trade blow up, which was minus 16% on the futures in 3 weeks. That does not mean that has to happen again. We could reset this with a 4% dip, right? Like this can reset quickly. It's basically volatility, right? Like that's essentially what we're looking at here. So I still maintain that volatility is a good hedge to have. I'm not saying to sell all your stocks, but there is definitely air pocket risk over the next couple of weeks. I'm not really calling for anything like that, but a small position I think is worth it. So that's really the crux of it. Outside of that, everything else looks fine. I mean, we had kind of weakish breadth today. That would be another kind of thing I didn't love. So I don't love it when, it's just, McClellan's kind of like meandering up. I like to see a good thrust. Like that's a thrust. You want to see that. It's not terrible. As long as the Russell is leading, you have the Russell, you have the mags leading. That's usually good, but I would prefer chips to be a little bit better. And you have a confirmed lower low and lower high here on SMH, just FYI. But, as I said, previously, leverage works both ways, right? IGV, that's 6 in a row now. Bitcoin. And somebody's got, I got to ask, I know someone was whoever's in the live stream this morning, you got it. I was just looking at this. I swear this hit 60,500. If I'm, I talked about the level. in the first thing this morning in the live stream, right? And I swear it hit. I don't know if I have a I don't know if I have a screenshot saved of it. I hope I do, but I know I put the fibs on there, and I swear this went to. I mean, unless I'm just like, lost my mind, or I looked at the wrong Bitcoin chart, or one that was like on a less, you know, a smaller exchange or something like that. But I swear the 50% was 65, 60,005 area, and I just wanted to pierce that. Maybe I was looking at this 382. But nonetheless, the other level that I talked about definitely triggered, which was 62.5, right? So I know that triggered, right? That went right through that. So I said, if we get back to above this, it's going to squeeze. So anyway, this was probably the first day in a while that Bitcoin actually impressed me, because it was red. I mean, it dumped hard and the dip was bought. That was definitely, I mean, they definitely made people bearish there. But I was impressed with Bitcoin today. So what I was saying before, leverage longs coming out of SMH, leverage shorts, IGV, MAGs, right? Microsoft. I mean, everybody's short Microsoft, on the street. Maybe even another W bottom here. But Bitcoin, yeah. So that rotation. Anyway, I would keep an eye on. Let's look at tomorrow, because I know I talked about 760 SPY in last night's video. There is some interest down here at 745 for tomorrow if we were to dip. I don't know if we would even go that low. This is not including volume either way. This is just open interest, GEX open interest. And you can see on the Qs here, sorry, that's, it's, I'll look at the index view. There we go. No, okay, this is the volume. So not a lot of volume added at 745, but we definitely had some calls added at 52 or 53. I'm sorry. And then, the index view here, Qs are still, you got, a little bit of put interest there, and IWM still kind of mixed, but it still looks fairly supportive for the most part. We'll see what it updates at tomorrow. But at the end of the week, I still think this market's in decent position here. Anyway, without making this too long-winded, Qs are, basically an inside day. IWM, same thing. Dow and the S&P breaking out. Dow's starting to surge here. Dow's the new Micron, right? SMH, 50 MA held. I love the price action on IGV, gapping down below the low, and then closing above the, closing at the prior day high. Palantir actually took out the prior day high within minutes of the open. So I liked what the price action I saw on a lot of these names. Not all of them closed green, but the price action in general was pretty good. Transports down fractionally. They've been in a really tight range. You do have a bear flag. It is taking a really long time to play out, though, and it's above the moving averages. So at some point, I think this can defer to the trend, but we'll see. TLT didn't quite get to 85. I don't have much alpha here this week on this. I do think it would be interesting around 84, 65 or so, though. And we don't have a lot of data this week that can move TLT either. XHB down, nothing terrible. IYR down, nothing terrible. Banks continuing to surge here. This was one of my picks back, a month or two ago, and nobody cared about banks back then. But this is a beautiful bull pattern here, and nice follow through there for XLF. KRE, red to green, and broker dealers new all-time closing high. Oil is basically boring now. Nobody cares anymore. Volatility is dead. So I would just give it the downside bias to 65 until something changes. XLE volatility really dying out too. This is normal for this time of the year. Dollar index was gapped up and then faded pretty good here. Again, I think there's too many longs in the dollar. I think gold is in a good position. I think gold can have a pretty good week this week too. It's still got to clear whatever this is, 41. Oh, 4,200. If it gets above 4,200, it'll go. Silver is in a little bit weaker of a position. Right, it's still not quite above that pivot, but it still has the same setup. And again, going back to the miners here, again, they never made new lows, right? That was always a good sign. PL, PA, kind of just apply what I just said to those two, but in a weaker position. And then copper did have a nice little rebound. It's trying to put in kind of a mini bull pattern, but not the greatest. Talked about Bitcoin already. That had a very good day here. It was flat, but it was about as good of a flat day as you can get. And then yeah, S&P. It can go to 7,600 this week. It's certainly doable. 760 SPY is on the table, so we can make new all-time highs. I would just be a little careful here, and I'd watch I'm definitely going to be watching the what's going on under the hood here, as that correlation is very, very low. I don't know how much lower it can really go, honestly. But anyways, guys, I will wrap it up here. You guys take care. Don't forget to come find me on carnivoretrades.com. We also got a new video out on the main channel, Carnivore Trades, on swing trading. Check that out if you want. You got some time. We'll see you guys all in the next video.